Hey, thanks so much for coming on here today. I appreciate your time.
No worries. Thanks for having me. It's
We'll
great to
start
be
things
here.
off if you don't mind. You've basically been the soundtrack to every Australian pool party festival for the last decade. Do you feel like you're the house party starter pack for the country, or are you kind of over that label now?
Oh, I mean that's a great label. If that's true, then I mean that's a real honor to be starting any party anywhere, any around any pool or any barbecue.
You've produced and you've written for so many other artists, Elton John, Troye Sivan, Khalid, just to name a few. But I want to know, like, is there a difference in how you approach writing for yourself versus writing for someone else?
Not really. I mean, a lot of the time you're just writing. So you're just making a song. You don't really have any idea who it's for. In the case of Elton, it was different because we have, his whole catalog and we were kind of, excuse me, piecing bits and pieces together from that. So that's different because you're working with a vocal that's already been recorded. But when you're writing, you're just writing. You're just trying to make the best song you can with the people in the room at the time. And you don't really think too much about that unless it is not for PNAU. You know what I mean? But generally, you just do it, and then you're like, "Oh, this kind of sounds like it could be PNAU." And then quite often you start, unless the actual artist is in the room, which it was in the case of The Warning with Two Corazon. But if you're just writing with a writer, you're just trying to make a great record, and then you start thinking about, oh, who could sing this or whatever, and then maybe you have a chorus and you don't have the verse or whatever, and then maybe that person coming on board will want to add something to it and put their spin on it and do some writing there as well.
Yeah, I get that. Do you ever listen to your own music for enjoyment, or is it only for like analysis?
No, I
No?
mean, obviously on stage I do,
Yeah.
but like you've got to understand by the time that you guys hear a song, I have literally heard it tens of thousands of times.
So
Like, and
Chameleon
and
won't come
every
up every now and again. No, you won't just hit play on
I
that
mean, it
track.
might just come up on the
Yeah.
algorithm if I'm just like freewheeling it on Spotify or whatever.
Mm.
Maybe, yeah, sure. But no, I mean, once it's done, it's out in the world. I'm on to the next thing, and that's. I mean, when I've got a DJ show coming up, or we've got a live show, obviously I'm listening to it.
Yeah.
Putting the show together and everything. But no, I
No.
mean, that seems quite self-indulgent to sit around listening to your own music all the time.
You've been in rooms where ideas either click instantly or they completely fall flat. So tell me honestly, what's the fastest you've ever known a song wasn't going to work out?
I mean, you have to keep an open mind because sometimes something that you might think is a bit weird or is the wrong idea or whatever. I mean, there are no wrong ideas, but you know what I mean? Something, maybe if you don't click with something straight away, maybe you needed to go through that to get to something better that everybody in the room loves. So you just have to trust the process really and keep an open mind and don't, like, as soon as you switch into negative thinking and overthinking, that's kind of the enemy of a great piece of music, I think.
Sure. Let's talk about your new track now. It's called Your Heart. You did it with a band called The Warnings. Basically, for anyone who hasn't heard the song, it's about opening yourself up to beauty in a changing world. So I'd love to know, when was the last time you were genuinely surprised by something beautiful in music?
In music, I mean, all the time. I was at Coachella last weekend, and you end up, the great thing about a festival, and I don't really go to festivals very often as a punter. I'm normally behind the stage, and you're kind of in and out pretty quickly most of the time. But we often don't get enough time on tour to really see that many other bands. But the great thing about a festival is you're going to see stuff that you don't know. You're going to be introduced to new bands and new DJs and new artists. Um, you know what it was? I was sitting, like, I mean, Coachella is like a big grassy field. Well, it's a big dusty field, but the main stage has got grass. And I was sitting on the grass for the XX, and I know the XX, but I haven't like delved super deep into their catalog before. And it was so amazing.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, maybe it was just like the perfect time of the day. It was kind of, it was like sunset kind of end of the day, but it was just is such a beautiful gig and it sounded incredible. And I don't even know the name of the girl who sings for the XX, but she was incredible.
Mhm.
She was just amazing. So that was just last weekend. I'm still recovering, in case you hadn't noticed. But it was that was truly like just a moment where I liked the band, but I didn't really know what to expect. I'd never seen them live, and it was like, wow, these guys, and they went through like they really built it into a real frenzy, but a lot of it was really mellow and just like perfect for that time of the day. So yeah.
Dance floors can be unpredictable. So tell me honestly, has there ever been a track where you were convinced it would hit live and it just didn't?
Yes,
Mhm.
definitely. When we first started playing Go Bang, we played it for like, I think it was like 18 months before it came out.
Mhm.
And it didn't really work.
No?
Like it's occasionally you would see like, oh, okay, that's gonna work, like the chorus is kind of working. But it was just one of those records where, it did really well for us once it was out. But when we played it and nobody knew it, it just didn't really, we never got the response we were looking for. It was kind of just like a bit of a lull. And then once it was out, and now, to this day, it's kind of, the top three biggest moments of the show.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you never know. Like sometimes people need to hear a record outside of that environment. Sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes you play something the first time and it's just like boom. And maybe that's like a more deliberately clubby kind of festival banger kind of track where it just connects. It's real body music. But Go Bang, yeah, it was just the perfect example of that. I don't know why,
Ah.
but now it's, the tables have turned on that one, luckily.
Yeah. Just quickly, well, I've got you 12-date regional Australia tour that kicks off in June. It's called Nirvana. It's your first ever dedicated regional run, which is interesting because you're taking this tour across winter. Tell me, does the season itself become part of the emotional design of the show?
I didn't think so. I mean, we're always trying to bring the sunlight and the positivity and the good vibes wherever we play. And a lot of it's in Queensland, so I'm imagining it's going to be pretty warm,
Yeah.
despite the title of winter. Um, but no, not really. We don't really design the set for the time of year. I mean, I guess if it's New Year's Eve, maybe that's a bit different, but that's not really the season. It's more just because it's New Year's Eve. Um, but yeah, no, not really.
Peter, this has been an absolute honor to speak with you today. I've grown up listening to your music, so I really appreciate you taking the time to chat. Thank you again.
It's been a great chat. Thanks so much, Isaac.